It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is Cleveland's own Breaker with Get Tough. And we heard something earlier from the band Halloween, being that this is the, I guess this would be the official Halloween weekend or the weekend before the actual date on Tuesday. And anyway, want to welcome my friend and birthday boy to the mic, my good friend and partner, Chris Aiken. What's going on, Chris?
What is up, sir? How are we?
Are you recovered? Did you go out and enjoy your birthday? Did you tie one on?
Yeah, I got a little drunk.
Got a little drunk.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I mean, I'm holding the bottle of, what is this stuff? Tennessee Fire that I was drinking. We were drinking a bottle of Gentleman Jack and Tennessee Fire. We were just kind of passing it back and forth.
Yeah, it's straight out of the bottle.
Straight out the bottle.
No pussy glasses, no ice, no mixers, just straight up right out of the bottle.
Not even a chaser.
Just swigging it straight.
Yep, I was chasing this Fireball, whatever this is, Tennessee Fire with Gentleman Jack. That's what I was doing.
So it's Jack on Jack.
Pretty much, yeah.
Didn't the band Heart sing a song? Jack on Jack.
Did they?
I think that was Black on Black.
Oh, I was going to say, wow.
I was trying to make it fit the circumstances and situation.
Yeah, well, we did our fair share of drinking. We went to a restaurant first, had some dinner and some drinks there, and then we came home and really had some drinks.
Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, I wasn't blasted. It was like, I was still up at like 7 o'clock this morning, so it wasn't one of those deals where I was like, oh, my life is over. I can't move today.
Right.
It was just fun. Just had a fun time. That's all.
Well, isn't that what it's all about?
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So you did some drunk karaoke?
Yeah, a little bit. We were just fucking around. We were sitting here in the office just jamming tunes and fucking around. That's
yeah.
All I mean, it wasn't like it was some elaborate thing. It was we were here and we came in the office where I could jam the tunes louder.
Right.
And we just turned the tunes all the way up and started jamming them and started singing and being goofy. And, I pulled out my phone and started recording.
Well, of course, we couldn't allow, a little private moment not to be shared with the world.
Something shocking or outrageous might have happened, and we need to capture that.
No kidding. No kidding. So, anyway, what is it, 49?
49
wow.
years young.
Yeah. 49 years old. Wow, you're almost at that half-century mark that you didn't think you were going to make.
No, I thought I was going to make 50. 55 was the one.
55 is the mark.
55 is what the doctors have told me not to get my hopes past.
Right. And at this stage in your life, do you believe that to be true, or you go, you know what, if the desire is there, I'll go beyond 55 and then some?
Don't think about it that way. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right. But my point is that at this point of how you feel physically or mentally or where you are, do you anticipate 55 to be an actual benchmark for you, or do you go, you know what, I don't think that's the case at all?
Mentally I could make it. Physically, no fucking way.
No fucking way. So you're done in 6 years. Maybe.
I don't know. I know this. I'm not going to fucking lay around eating salad and working out 4 hours a day so that I can live an extra day.
Right.
Fuck that. No chance.
Yeah, no way. I'm not going to be like Neely. That's ridiculous.
I'm not willing to sacrifice. I've done enough sacrificing in my life, and I've done everything I want to do. It's not like I need to hang on because I got things left. I don't have anything else that, I've traveled, I've, rocked out, I've done this, I've been radio guy, I've written books, I've built businesses. I don't have anything else to do. Now it's just kind of, maybe see my kids get married or some shit like that. But
would you wish that on your kids?
No, but I mean, that's something I haven't done. I'm just saying, as far as benchmarks that most people put on their life, I don't have any more to do.
Right.
I'd be okay if I dropped dead soon.
Sure.
You know, I would like to make it to maybe make it to the 25-year mark of the CMS.
Right.
That's about the only thing I really have kind of on I would like to get to the 25-year mark of the show.
Well, that's 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, come January, we will be have celebrated 22 years.
Wow. Talk about getting old.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about, you had passed some news on to me about a week or so ago about the passing of a former WSTB alumni, Aaron Winters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, it kind of took me back because obviously at the time that I knew Aaron Winters, I was basically in the first year of doing the CMS.
Right. Wow.
And, the guy was just a teenager at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And at 39, was there ever a cause of death that you were aware of?
I looked and it didn't say anything even in his obit. So
all I saw was he died at home.
Yeah, that's all I saw too. Is he died at home and he was survived by blah blah and blah.
Yeah.
I did not see any kind of had a heart attack or got shot in the face or any such thing.
Well, when I hear someone say they died at home, only three things come to mind.
Wife?
No.
No?
No. You're supposed to say what comes to mind, Natalie.
Oh, come on, Natalie, get with it. I'm a little slow so far.
Well, heart attack you mentioned.
Sure.
Drug overdose.
Mm-hmm.
Suicide.
Yeah.
Those three would pop up immediately. I mean, I'm sure there's extenuating circumstances, but nevertheless, when I see an announcement where it said, especially for a young person, that they died at home, we kind of suspect maybe suicide or OD.
Yeah, it's that old meth suicide. Suicide by meth. It might not have been on purpose, but it was sort of.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I never met that guy, so I don't really have an opinion on that.
Right. Well, again, I didn't really know the guy real close. I mean, I knew him, but didn't know him, and when you passed that information along to me and I saw, geez, this guy's only 39.
Yeah.
And then I go back and think about, 21 years ago, and it's like he was just a kid, and, here he is, almost 40-year-old guy, dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
But then you can think to yourself, I beat him.
Yeah. The thing is, that kind of makes you reflect a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But do you really, I mean, in the end, dude, when you look out, do you really worry about that shit? I mean, are you worried about dying?
No, I certainly don't worry about it. At this point, at this very juncture, as of today, I'm in a very good place.
Yeah.
As of today.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few rocky years. Everybody goes through that. But as of today, I'm in a real good place.
Yeah. See, that's how I look at it is I go from day to day. I try to do as much as I can every day. And when those days stop, they stop. If nothing else, nobody's ever going to, when they have my eulogy, they're certainly not going to be like, this was a lazy man who did nothing. They may say I was an asshole and a dick and everything else, but they certainly won't be able to say that I didn't accomplish.
Sure.
The only thing, and you probably don't do this as much as I do because I do have kids, but I look now for legacy, and I kind of have left it. There's 1 million hours of radio, so my kids can hear that forever and a day. There's books about my life that I've written. There's more books coming, hopefully. So I've left a substantial mark. How a lot of people, I don't want to say most, but a lot of people, their memory sort of ends when the funeral ends. People, they think about it on the anniversaries. A person dies, if your mom dies or something, you think about your mom on her birthday and on her death day and maybe something that was important to you. But day to day, you really don't.
Yeah.
You just don't. And when you do, a lot of times you you don't remember, you don't remember that person's voice. I can't tell you how many times you hear that on all these cop shows of, oh, he's been gone so long, I don't remember his voice anymore. Well, I don't have any of that to worry about.
Right.
That's all taken care of as far as, what I thought, both in being silly and being serious. It's all out there.
Sure.
It's all in books, and it's all on the radio, and it's all handled, and that's good enough. And for me personally, I've done the things that I want to do. I don't have, my brother says I should start a new bucket list, and I'm like, why? I was satisfied with the one I had. I was happy with the one I had, and I knocked it all down.
Right. Well, you'll have a Metallica legacy. The memory remains. Yeah.
I just don't think that you have to have. I don't think that you have to spend every day of your life wishing for something.
Yeah, I don't get that either, because that's nothing that I even concern myself with. I was just having a conversation today that, I just take one day at a time. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, or even if there is a tomorrow.
Yeah, but I mean, do you have things that you think about and you go, man, I really got to get that done before my time is up?
Not really, no.
I used to. I won't lie and say I didn't used to, but especially these last 5 years with the building the businesses and with the, especially with the books, I kind of really wanted to write a book, just one. I just wanted to do one, and now I've done 4, and it's very cool for me to have that all done. And I've got more that I want to write, but I've accomplished that. And like with the show, I always wanted to do radio. I've told this on this show before about how I used to like to pretend that I was on the radio from the time I was 5 years old.
Right.
And now I've done it both in the commercial market and in this medium, which grew, long after the original thought of radio, this thing came. And I've been successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
I was successful on commercial radio. I'm successful in this thing. And, are we the biggest in the world? No. But I never thought I was going to be the biggest in anything, and I'm pretty comfortable with what we've done with this show.
Right.
I mean, people say it to me a lot about, oh, the show is so great and this and that. And I appreciate all those comments. But to me, the thing that I think makes it good to me, what makes me love doing it or love listening back to or whatever, is just, it's not so much the content of the show. It's that we've found an audience, but we did it without ever, ever, ever adapting to what anybody else wanted us to do.
Yeah, I agree.
We never did that. And that's so rare in any kind of medium. And I know we don't make any money doing it. It doesn't matter. We still do it our own way. Don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. Don't, everybody, and you've said this a million times, even your dad. Oh, how are you going to make money with that thing?
Mm-hmm.
No one gets exactly why we do it, but we do it and we reach a ton of people. And that to me is satisfying. It's something that we do our way for our own reasons and nobody has any influence on. And the fact that it's successful, I wouldn't give a shit if it was just me talking to you and you talking to me and no one was listening. I really wouldn't, just because it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
It's fun and we don't compromise and we don't have to stop doing it so that we can say, okay, and we'll be right back in a minute after this word from Marble Tires. We don't have to play those fucking games.
Right.
We can just do our shit and have fun doing it. And to me, that's an accomplishment.
Well, speaking of hungry, did you know that Burger King has 2 Whopper sandwiches special this week for $5? That's right, $5. Whopper specials at Burger King this week. Now, getting back to the show.
Yeah, exactly. and you can go get those Whoppers after the traffic and weather here on the 10s.
Right. Well, speaking of people who appreciate the show and have found the show, which, every week you and I get messages saying, hey, I just found the show, or I just been listening a couple of weeks, or I've been going back through the old shows. And
sure.
Well, here's somebody who sent us an email.
Okay.
Tony Hagus, Hagus.
Okay. Hi, Tony.
He says, hail and kill, jigaboos.
Oh boy.
I've been going through a bevy of older episodes of the CMS in the past week or so on my iPad at work.
Okay.
Your segments on Metalheads United, Big Mike, The Cerberus Show, and Ian Hunter commentary are the work of comedy masterminds.
Wow.
Masterminds.
Nice.
I almost lost it several times in my cubic office. That's a little Bob Leather humor there.
Sure.
And at some point had to hit pause and leave the room to collect myself, or I'll just wait till I got back to my car so I could not lose my shit. The Big Mike Show commentary is funnier than hearing John Rufo discuss his triple bypass on his ass cheek, though to be fair. I could listen to Captain Rufo and Chris the Animal Aiken fight all day.
Great.
You got to get Jan Patrick on as a guest in the near future because that guy is just a fucking riot.
Yeah, he is funny.
Hail and kill. Fuck you, Bob. And in Neely we trust.
Well, how about that?
We be Kangs.
Okay, then.
Lots of references in there.
No kidding. That's a listener.
Yeah. So he's a guy who loves the old stuff.
Yeah. No kidding.
So yeah, when I read little emails like that, you know, that obviously makes doing the show worthwhile.
It does.
So there's no amount of money that could replace that.
Nope. It does. It just makes it fun to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love doing it. It's weird because I don't know. You don't seem to have it as much as I do. I almost always dread that last hour, you know, right before, because I'm chilling on a Saturday. And then it's like, all right, I got to go and do 6 hours. And I'm like, all right, get yourself pumped up. Get yourself ready. Don't make sure you get a nap, do all that kind of shit to make sure that I can hang till 3 a.m. and not be fucking falling asleep. And I usually come right up till about 10 minutes before the show, and I'm just sort of dragging ass. And then it's like, all right, let's do this, And then once we start, then I'm all in, and it's fun from there. But
well, you got to get all amped up, ready to go.
It's just like work, dude. When you go to when you go to your job, I'm sure when you're driving into your job, you fucking hate the thought of doing it, and then you get there and you're like, all right, let's get this fucking done.
Yeah, you kind of mentally prepare yourself.
Yeah.
My mental my mental place kicks in about an hour to an hour and a half before the show.
Okay.
And then I sort of start getting myself mentally into that space.
Right.
Because what a lot of people don't understand, even though this seems free flowing and free form, which it is,
mm-hmm.
it really does take a little bit of mental preparation to be the entertainer guy. Because this is the most I speak to anyone all week, in this amount of time.
Yeah, that is true.
Because I don't sit there and jabber on the phone with people, and I don't, have ridiculously long conversations with anybody, and I don't typically hang out with groups of friends and things. So for 6 hours to just blather for me is it takes a little bit of prep time.
Yeah. Yeah, for you.
Yeah, for me.
For me, I don't think I ever shut the fuck up, but, I think I talk to my TV when nobody's here, so, I mean, I never shut up.
Right.
But I get that with you, because, even when I talk to you on the phone during the week, it's usually me talking. You'll call and you'll have a point, but then we'll stay on the phone for like 30 minutes, and it's like almost always just me going, bup, 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 and you're like, yeah, yep.
I'm a man of few words.
Yeah, well, you're outside of this. You're not Neely from the CMS.
Yeah, I know. I'm the entertainer guy on Saturday, but then it's back to business through the rest of the week.
Yeah, then you're Mr. Neely once you get out of here.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I'm becoming my old man.
Well, you know what? That's probably not such a bad deal, is it?
Nah, not really.
I mean, your old man has done pretty goddamn well for himself.
That is true.
So, there's worse things you could become than that.
Right. So anyway, it is something that I do look forward to, and obviously it was something that I too had a desire to do. I probably have told this on the show years ago, but I had considered getting into radio during the 80s.
Right.
And every time I brought it up to other people who I say, hey, I think I'm going to go pursue broadcasting, and everybody talked me out of it. Oh, that's a dead end job. That's no man's land. That's for losers, And so that kind of dissuaded me. And then when I finally did decide to pursue a broadcasting career and go to school and stuff, it was only because after driving a truck across country for a couple of years and listening to a lot of radio, I could do better than these guys.
Absolutely.
And I put that money aside and plunked down $10,000 and went to broadcasting school for a year for radio and television.
Right.
And started the show not with the thought that, hey, I'm going to make millions of dollars. I did it because it's like, you know what? I like this.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And because you had a studio and that guy just left you alone. He let you do the show.
Pretty much.
Bob Long, who was the program director over there at WSTB, he's like one of the coolest guys. As far as, especially with your show, he really didn't interfere at all.
No, not at all. Because I interned there at WSTB for, I started there in September. And I started this show in January, so I went September, October, November, and then December. So I was at it for 4 months.
Right.
And I showed up every week and did my intern hours and did my air shift and all that. Never caused a problem. And, it just got to the point I said, hey, what are the chances that you would allow me to do, at the time it was considered a specialty show?
Sure.
And he said, yeah, sure. If you got the catalog, go right ahead and do it.
And you were like, yes, sir.
And obviously I had the catalog because I brought 2 big bags of CDs in every week.
That was the funniest part about the WSTV show, was you would come in and it would take you, about 45 minutes?
Yeah, a half hour to 45 minutes to lay everything out.
Because you're so fucking meticulous versus me. If it was me, it would have taken 5 minutes. I'd have just brought them all in and thrown them down. And you know what? Everything that would have got played in tonight's episode would be starting with an A.
Right.
Because I would have just pulled the next CD and the next thing. Guess what? We're playing all Anthrax tonight, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, everything was in alphabetical. And this was before MP3s.
Yeah, they were discs.
Yeah, they were discs. They were literal discs and cases. And I had two large duffel bags with everything in alphabetical order, and I had to lay them out on the counter.
Yeah, and they were so many that it wasn't just a counter. There was I don't know how to explain it. There was 2 sides to the DJ thing. There was your side, and then there was whoever the co-host would be's side.
Right.
You had so many discs that they spread out over both sides.
Yeah, they did.
Over both counters, just so that you had enough music to, never not be able to play a request.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only reason you ever did it, because you always did as long
as it was a 100% request show. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was definitely an ordeal watching you come in, because it was, I came up there a few times when you were getting ready, and it was like, okay, I'll just sit here on the couch and get out of the way. Because there's no reason for me to stand anywhere in the studio and just be in the way.
Right.
And that was what it was, is I would sit there, usually me or Randy or me and one of the mics.
Well, it started out with Little Mike.
Right.
He was a listener of the show, and he'd call in and he'd want to always talk about metal bands and, hey, what about, he'd call, hey, how about Dio? What do you think of that guy? And did you ever hear this CD from him? And, he'd get on the phone and want to talk to me on the phone. And after a while, I was just like, dude, why don't you just come down here?
Yeah.
I can't tie up the phone line and just talk to you about metal and bands all day. Right. I said, so why don't you just come on down? Yeah. So he did. And he started looking over my CD collection and stuff. And, anytime we were going to play something, he knew that catalog because he was a hardcore. He loved that music. Granted, I know a lot about that stuff, obviously, but
sure.
He knew. This kid lived in his room and he played his metal bands all day long.
Right.
And so he would pour through the CDs, and if I didn't have any requests lined up, he would sit there and pick through, and here, play this one from Saxon, or play this one from Iron Maiden, or, you know, something like that. Yeah. So he became my unpaid intern, you know?
Right, sure.
And he had no desire to get on the air. He did, no. You know, I thought it could get him to share the mic with me, but he was like, no, that's not my thing. I don't want to be on the mic. I'm just happy to just hang out here and talk metal and look through the CDs and help you out, you know, which he did.
Sure. And
he was there every week.
Yep.
He kind of reminded me, you've seen the movie High Fidelity, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Jack Black and that other guy always showed up at the CD store. He says, I never even hired these guys. They just started coming in here one day, and they just show up every day and work in the store.
Yep.
It's the same thing, you know. And then Rockin' Randy came along.
Yeah, and that was a whole different experience.
Yeah, Rockin' Randy did share the mic with me.
Oh, and he loved to hear his own voice.
Oh, he did. But that didn't last very long because, you know, he always had something going on. He was a little bit unreliable and, you know, some other issues, which I won't get into. And then so it's like, dude, you know, I really like you. You're a good dude, but you just can't come back here anymore.
You're out.
Yeah. And then Big Mike came into the picture.
Right.
He's another fan. He was a fan of a girl that I dated for a short time.
Okay.
And he'd come in and hang out with us every now and again, you know, and he loved his metal music.
Yeah, but he was another one didn't want to be on the mic either.
No, he didn't want to be on the mic. And then we had our friend Long-Haired Mike.
Right.
And we had the three mics. We had Big Mike, Little Mike, and Long-Haired Mike.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of my, you know, my whack pack, if you will.
Sure.
But Long-Haired Mike became a real asset to the show because at the time I didn't have a relief, you know, someone who could fill in for me.
Right.
And Mike had never done radio before, but he was just like, hell yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He knew his stuff. He loved that music, and I let him use the catalog and everything, and he'd go up there and do my show for 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, we have some really funny clips, the clips of him and Little Mike.
And Little Mike, yeah.
Doing the show with the...
Oh, that was with Chuck and Little Mike.
Wasn't that with Long-Haired Mike?
No, it was Chuck and Little Mike.
Okay, all right.
Because then you introduced me to Chuck Myden.
Yeah, right.
And he kind of became like my co-host.
Right.
But, you know, and he did okay, and the show was okay, but not until you came into the picture and would riff on the mic with me that the chemistry really gelled.
Right.
You know, because, you know, it was okay. We could have a little discussion on the air and you know, between Long-Haired Mike or Chuck and myself. Mm-hmm. But it didn't catch fire until you and I did the show together.
Right. And then it was pretty instant.
Yep, exactly. So, you know, it's chemistry.
Yeah.
Chemistry is everything.
It did. It is funny because listening to some of those old clips, you could just hear you and I, the same thing that we're doing now, we were doing from show one.
Yeah.
I mean, from show number one. And what's weird is, you remember when I first joined the internet show, which would have been, what, about 2005 or
2005, so? Yeah.
And we were doing what we do, but we were trying not to talk too long.
Yeah.
Remember, the people bitched that we talked too much, and we were talking like, we were doing almost like traditional radio. We were doing like, okay, here's 7 minutes, and then out.
Well, the reason we did that, we tried to format ourselves, is because internet radio was starting to catch fire.
Right.
And we were trying to syndicate the show, and one of the syndicators that we attempted to work with was Brain Gel Radio.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so we were trying to stay within some kind of a parameter.
Right.
And it just wasn't working, and they bitched and bitched and bitched during the first show that we were talking too much, and you just pulled the plug on them.
Yeah. Like, okay, see ya. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I don't think they made it through one complete show.
No, we pulled mid-show. Or not even mid-show. I think we went like an hour. I got tired of them bitching, and I was like, all right, we're out. Bye.
Yeah. And then, that's when Katrina happened.
Right.
And we were on United Rock Radio.
Yeah, they didn't like me.
Well, that was Dave Tedder's station.
Okay, yeah.
And
he liked me, but I don't think his chat room didn't like me.
No, the chat room didn't like you, and then you made that Katrina joke, and everybody got offended.
Yeah, Bob, what was it? Something about a good citizen floating down the street?
Yeah, that's what you said, and boy, I'll tell you what, that backlash on that was just horrific, and both of us were like, what is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, it was like, we're telling jokes here, friends. Come on.
Yeah, they didn't like that kind of jokes.
Yeah, they didn't like that. It was too hard hitting.
It was. And then they were boycotting.
Yeah, they all boycotted.
Yeah, terrible. Where are those people today?
Yeah, who knows? They're still boycotting, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. But this show, has gone through some very interesting twists and changes over the last 22 years.
Yeah, no doubt.
So 3 years and 25, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
It is. Maybe one day when you finally finish up with all your bucket list books, we can get to mine.
Well, we could start it. I mean, why don't we say that we're going to start it in 18? Because I have books that I can write till I drop.
Right.
I want to do, but dude, if we're going to do it, we should do it. We should set a date that we're going to start, and we should do it and just knock it out.
Right. Well, Eddie Trunk can't be the only guy out there shilling a book.
No, he's not. I am.
Well, this week.
Cause and Effect, Motley Crue.
This week.
Now. Yeah. No, we gotta get your book done too. I have a lot of writing still in me, and I like doing it.
Yeah.
So
otherwise I'm going to have to employ Joel MacGyver.
Well, that would be a better book than mine.
And then get him involved.
Or Martin Popoff.
Yeah, Martin. Yeah, he's definitely a great one.
Me and Kelly were looking at the Led Zeppelin book last night.
Yeah, I saw that she proudly displayed her copy.
Yeah, well, so much for it being a Christmas present, right? Pour in alcohol, the presents come early. But no, we were looking through that book, and what a fucking jewel that book is. Martin Pop. I'm going to get Martin on the show here shortly. Because that book, we need to have him on to talk. I got to know how he knows all this shit. If he knows the band, or if he's just the world's best researcher. Because literally, he's got the full story on every single song that they've ever written, and I can't figure out for the life of me how he figured that out, unless he just sat down with Jimmy Page and wrote it, and they wrote it together. But doesn't say they did that, so I don't know.
Well, Jackal One says that book rules.
It's great, man. It might be the best rock book I own. It's just good. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just really, really good.
Yeah. Well, I'm no writer, obviously, and guys who do have that gift or that talent, be it yourself or a Martin Popoff, or as we mentioned, a Joel MacGyver. Who bangs these books out, 3-4 a year,
right?
With no effort.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing to me. I mean, I can write a book in about a year. Not like the Motley Crue one that's smaller. I mean, I wrote that in 2 months or 3 months or something. But the like Call Me Chris or Victories, they both took a year. And then took me 6 months to clean them up. So the way those guys do it, and I know that's their gig, and that's all they do, and because that's all they do, they probably are better at it than I am. But man, to be able to write 2 books of the quality that either one of those guys do in a year is amazing. It is
amazing.
That's a talent I do not have.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's that just goes back to anybody that you or I admire. Be it a songwriter or an author or, someone who can, in your field, especially like build websites and
Sure.
things like that. I sit back and admire people like that.
Well, thanks.
Well, the thing is, probably, speaking of websites, I know we're all over the place with stuff,
Yeah,
but
right. Probably
one of the best websites I've ever seen, and I know I sent it to you when I discovered it, was that Rolex website.
Oh yeah,
that is an amazing website.
Yeah, that's $100,000 minimum to build that sucker.
Yeah.
That is pretty sweet there.
Yeah, it is. But just looking at that, that's like, wow, that is the top of the heap right there.
Yep. Well, that's what you get when you sell your watches for $40,000 a piece or
right.
whatever they cost.
Yeah, you just got to sell 2 of those watches and you'll have yourself a good website.
Yeah, exactly. Me, I'd have a shitty website and just be done for the year working because I sold 2 of them and made $80,000.
Sure. Well, speaking of websites and books and whatnot, your book has been out how long? A month? A week?
The pre-orders have been up since October 1st, so actually 4 weeks.
Oh, 4 weeks already.
Yeah,
and what are the pre-order sales looking like?
Pretty good, actually. I've sold, I think, of the physical book, I've sold something like 70 copies of it in the pre-sale so far, which Call Me Chris did 200 pre-sales, and then it's over, I forget what it's at now. It's like at like 1,200 or 1,300 or something now. This one is doing pretty well. The audio is selling pretty good, actually. That's been the surprise to me, is quite a few people have bought. What I thought was a throw-in, I just wasn't willing to burn CDs. So I did like a throw-in where I was just going to put it on a thumb drive and, mail a thumb drive to people. I've sold a bunch of those. Now because I had planned to pull back the curtain here, folks, but I had planned to go to Walmart the day of, like, a week before the book came out and just buy 5 or 8 of these things that I was going to have to do and just copy the files to it. Instead, now I got to go to like Amazon and buy 50 of them or something, because I'm selling a bunch of that with the audio book. People are buying that on the thumb drive, and people are buying the Kindle version. People are buying the digital download version. So it's doing pretty well, man. I'm not upset with it, and I got the first batch of books yesterday. Actually, they came in the mail, and they look great. They came out. It's the first time of the 4 books that I actually got the books, and I wasn't like, oh, I gotta fucking make one last chance. It was one of those that I did not have that this time. So they look great, and I'm going to actually tomorrow my day consists of watching the second half of Stranger Things and autographing books.
Nice.
And I'm going to get the books out by. I know the official release date is the 24th of November. I'm going to probably get the first batch of pre-orders mailed around the 10th.
Okay.
So people that have pre-ordered the physical copies of the book will get their books probably a week early, I would think, somewhere in that time.
Bonus.
Man, look, you'll be ahead of the crowd.
Yeah, not only do they have a physical copy of the book, but they'll have your scrawl right in the inside cover.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Man.
But, dude, what's been kind of fascinating to me is, and I guess I should have expected it, but I just didn't even really think about it, is the other books are selling now again. With the pre-orders, people are ordering the other books too. I've sold easily 15, 16 Call Me Chris and Little Victories and the Metallica book. Just that people, they're buying like the Motley book and one of the other ones, and 2 of the other ones. Or the weirdest sale of all was our good friend Ron Keel. He bought Little Victories and Call Me Chris and neither of the rock books.
All right.
I got the PayPal thing or the store thing that said you got an order, and I looked at Ron Keel and I was like, oh cool, he must want the rock book or whatever. And I looked, neither one was the Rock book. I was like, okay, cool. You know? But yeah, dude, this is the fun time, man. This is the fun time where it makes the effort worthwhile. And it's been fun to me. I keep getting emails and messages from people that are liking the idea of the Motley Crue, you know, of the Motley 94 album being covered. Nikki Sixx did me a solid yesterday by talking about it, and it was on Blabbermouth that he was talking specifically about the Motley 94 record. I was like, oh, thanks, dude. Thanks for bringing it up. You know, because that'll raise interest that people go and Google it and they'll find it.
Now, when you say he was talking about it, he was just talking about the album, not specifically about your book?
No, not about my book.
Mr. Nicky might send you a cease and desist.
He might, and then his lawyer can tell my lawyer why sharing my experiences about his album is violating his copyright.
Well, because Mr. Nicky gave everything back, and you're just piggybacking on that.
Yeah, because I'm the first guy ever to write a book about a band or an album. Yeah, I'm the first one. If you know, and it's funny because people have said that, and a lot of people do know that, you know, we had that little Twitter spat, you know, last year or whatever.
Yeah, I still have a screenshot of that.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty funny, but he's not going to sue over this. I mean, so I had a lawyer friend ask me if I, you know, got clearances or whatever. I was like, I don't need to get clearances. And I mean, I did check with my lawyer and he agreed with me. I don't need clearances to share my own stories, you know, as long as I'm not using images or anything.
Right.
You know, I'm sharing stories. So just, you know, it's the same as a blog. It's no different than a blog.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the bigger reality is I love the record. So why in the hell would he ever want to sue me for saying that he fucking kicked ass?
Right.
You know, there's no reason that he would ever want to sue over that, I wouldn't think, but stranger things have happened, you know, so let's hope that I don't get sued, but I can't imagine that.
Well, if there's any money to be squeezed out of something, I'm sure he'll be in line to get his piece of the pie.
If after all these years and all these tours, Nikki Sixx needs to squeeze a couple dollars out of me, okay, you know, trust me when I tell you, I'm not making J.K. Rowling money.
Right.
You know, I'm making it's not about the money with the books anymore than it's about the money with the CMS.
Sure.
It's just something that I do, that I like to do, and, you know, makes a little money, but it certainly isn't paying too much.
Right.
So I'll just leave it there. It's not, I'm not retiring from book money.
Yeah,
not
sure.
Close.
Sure. Well, you know, speaking of other merchandise,
yes,
you know, for some reason, you know, within the last couple of months anyway,
mm-hmm.
I've been sending CMS merch, shirts and hats
mm-hmm.
overseas. Not here in the States, but over in mostly Australia, as we talked about last week.
Right.
England, over in the Nordic countries, be it Sweden.
Right.
You know, or let's see, where else did I send it to? Norway.
Okay.
You know, stuff like that. So fans of this show buying CMS swag, you know, over in Europe.
Do we need to finally fix the shipping?
You know what? I'm not concerned about that. That's not really an issue. I'm just glad somebody wants to wear one of the shirts. I think that's cool.
As I say, we could fix the shipping. We could use a different product that would have the shipping appropriate. I mean, it wouldn't fuck anybody on the shipping, but it would calculate the shipping to what it will actually cost.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to be selling shirts overseas and having to charge them $40 and $45 for a shirt.
Yeah, it does blow.
You know, because you know the shirts. You know, I think the shirts are fairly priced.
Mm-hmm.
And for domestic shipping, it's fairly priced. And, you know, we got people all over the world. And I appreciate the fact that they want one, but it all breaks even. Again, if I break even on it, that's all I care about. I just like the fact that people want to buy a shirt.
Sure.
And wear it somewhere else in the world.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. But I am out of hats, though.
Really? You sold all the hats?
All the hats are gone, but I talked to Sammy this week, and
Okay.
I told him that I need to order up some new hats.
All right.
So, and I'm thinking about, maybe changing up the shirt a little bit or putting maybe some kind of a different, thing on it. Maybe hail and kill or something on it,
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm gonna see about that. So before I order a new batch of shirts, I'm going to explore some different graphic or something. Obviously the Rex logo will remain, but people have been asking, well, how come it doesn't have hail and kill or fuck you pal on it or something like that?
Everybody wants to fuck you, pal, but then nobody will buy it.
Yeah.
And that's the big problem with that shirt is I would love for you to have those available, but you'd have to, let's say that you'd have to spend $200 to buy it.
Sure.
And then no one's going to buy them.
Yeah.
Everybody that says they're going to buy them, for every 10 that say they're going to buy one will.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with all these fucking fuck you pal shirts. You can't even take them to Goodwill.
True.
You can't do anything with them because they have profanity on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as fun as it is to say, or as fun of a catchphrase as it is, people are not going to physically wear this on their clothes.
Yeah, exactly. Not too many. I mean, they might. The place that they would wear it is out to a show.
Sure.
That would be where you could get away with a fuck you pal shirt. But like I went, it has nothing to do with us, but I went to a party last year and I was wearing a Hate Core Inc. shirt, and I know you don't know those guys, but they're
I remember the band though, but I don't know them.
Yeah, well, I know them a little bit, and they gave me a shirt, and the shirt is I forget what the catchphrase is, but something nasty, and it has just a big giant middle finger right in the middle of the shirt.
Kind of like your book or the book or the picture you wanted to use.
Yeah, exactly. But they I wore it to a party, not to a show, but to a party.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, they giving me the funny look, and giving me that, look at that guy.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I was like, all right, because it wasn't just like a bunch of my friends. It was like some were my friends, but then they were like other friends of the friends that were not quite as harsh as my friends are.
Sure.
And they were just horrified with this middle finger shirt.
Yeah, of course.
Which to me was funny. So,
Yeah, I agree. So and I completely agree with your analysis there that people say, yeah, I'd like to have a fuck you pal shirt, but they're not going to sell.
Yeah, and that's just the sad when we did have them on the, what was it, Zazzle?
Yeah, the Zazzle site. Yeah,
we sold two. We sold two of them before Zazzle finally caught on. They were up for like a good year. And we sold two of them, and then Zazzle took them down. It was like, oh, you're violating our code of ethics.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Don't be using profanity there, fella.
Yeah. Don't do that. That's bad.
Sure. All right, well, an hour is gone already.
Really?
Yep.
I have a question for you real quick before you play music.
Okay.
Do you have any Indian tales tonight?
I would have to think about it to see if I can think of a story or two that I have not told already.
All right, because I come to the table with an Indian tale.
All right. Well, I'll give it some thought and see if I can think of a story that I can tell you.
All right.
And in fact, I think I may have a story to tell you now that you're bringing it up.
Okay.
And we can do Indian tales tonight. I know people like that, but there's only so many stories I have, and we burned out quite a few of them in the very beginning.
Sure.
And I'm sure there will be more to come, but now that you brought it up and I'm thinking about it, I believe I have a story I could tell.
All right. Well, I definitely have a story that a fan sent me that is horrifying.
All right.
Horrifying.
Is it shocking and outrageous too?
I'm not going to lie. It's so horrifying that for the first time in my life ever, I went to Snopes to see if it was really true or if it was just bullshit. And it did not come up as a Snopes bullshit story.
All right.
Because this is horrific.
All right.
When you hear this, you're either going to be like, yep, I can see that because it's them. Or you're going to be like...
because it's them.
Yeah, well, I know how you feel about the Indians.
Yes.
You know, you're either going to believe it or you're going to be like, that can't be fucking real.
So after you read the story, am I going to go,
what the fuck?
You might just say, all right, folks, we're done for the night. That's it. We can't beat that. We can't go further than that.
Will I say anything like,
man, you are one twisted fuck?
You will definitely say that.
Okay.
There's no way that is not uttered. You might as well just keep that clip handy because that's going to be used a lot.
All right. Perfect.
This is horrendous.
All right. Sounds like a plan. All right. I want to go into the break here playing something from one of your favorite Cleveland bands, Signal 30.
All right.
And I'd play something, a series of disappointments.
Okay.
And I'll let you pick the tune since you're the birthday boy.
Yeah, well, of course I don't have it in front of me to know the names.
Well, let me read the names. Again, the name of the Signal 30 album is a series of
Disappointed!
we've got Right Through Me, Stay Out of You, I Blame Myself, When the Day Ends, No Choice, Always Right, Looking Up, Force the End, Positive, I Ran, and that's it.
I Ran is the Flock of Seagulls cover. Do we want to do that?
I don't know. Do we want to do that? Do you want to embarrass your friends that way?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So it's a cover of Flock of Seagulls, Signal 30 doing it in a doom fashion.
That's right.
All right. All right, well, we'll play a couple of tunes. Everybody go get a drink or whatever you need to do. Join us in the chat room. It is chatandkill.com. You can sign in there with your Chatwing account or your Yahoo account or Gmail or Google Plus, rather, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is that you belong to. You can sign in there with your sign in from any one of those other social media sites and be a part of the chat room.
Yep.
All right, well, here is Signal 30. This is from their latest release, a series of disappointments, and it's I Ran. I'm going to run and go get a drink exclusively here
on your classic metal show.